We're back. Hello and welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. Woo, it feels like we have been gone for quite some time, doesn't it, Paul?
Well, it's because we have been gone for quite some time.
Just a little bit.
That's true. We had a couple of weeks. We had a couple of chills scheduled that had to get postponed. And
it was a tiny glitch in the Matrix. It was a tiny glitch in the Matrix. Sorry
we
about
didn't have a show all December, for Christ's sake. But we are back. We are back. I'm happy. And this is a very fun show for us to come back with.
Yes.
It's a continuation, as it were, a sequel, if you were.
Part two.
This is Danny's idea. I had this idea last year, but I want you to tell me how you had this idea and what your thought process was as we get into it.
Well, we've been a part of this community for quite some time now, and we're always very honored to share the friendships that we've made throughout this community. We love it very, very much. We were honored to have the opportunity to be nominated for the Schmoedown Awards Aftershow / podcast award last year. So we were already doing the show, and we thought, why not bring everyone on and have some fun with each other and just hang out and shoot the shit. And that's what we did last year with all of the nominees then. And we have the wonderful opportunity, and we cannot thank you all so much to be nominated again this year for the Schmoedown Aftershow / podcast award. And we are truly, truly honored for that. And we thought, why not do it again? Let's do it again. Let's hang out with a bunch of our friends, especially because this is the new group. This is some young blood in it, and I'm super excited. Some young blood and some definite OGs that are in the game that definitely deserve their OG credit inside of the game for sure. So I'm super pumped to be able to talk to this group of people, and we're hanging out with the rest of the Schmoedown Aftershow podcast nominees tonight.
We will announce them without further ado. Well, I will say one more thing. It is great to say that the community that is the Schmoedown, Schmoedown community in general, and the Aftershow community in general as well, specifically, I mean, this is a group that we're like, competing for the award. We're all nominated. But honestly speaking, we all love each other. We all have a great time together. I mean, except for Shug. Shug can kiss my ass. But I'm just kidding, Shug. You know that. He's out there laughing. No, we love everybody. We all get along very well. So as far as I don't care who wins the award. I'm just happy to be hanging out with these fine folks. So without further ado, let's get them on screen. I'll bring on first and second. And Jilly, just so you know, this is the first person in my screen in my order. I'm going in order of me, Danny, Kelsey. The first person I'm going to bring up, that will be the aforementioned Shug, my friend, and Justin Hambone from the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast and Let's Get Ready Network now as it is. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, Paul. Doing good. How are you doing tonight, sir? And you don't have to lie to the people. We're your favorites. That's why we brought us on.
I mean, look at the name that I got. I didn't put that name there. Paul did.
Damn it.
Yeah. Paul does have control of all of that stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who made that name.
Right. Because me and Paul, we love each other to the utmost extent.
That is true. We still haven't met each other in real life, but when we do, that full frontal is coming, and I can't wait for it.
This is my favorite after show bromance. I will say the Justin Paul bromance. I ship it so much. 100%. Without further ado, we are bringing on someone new to the scene this year. We are very excited to have the opportunity to talk to someone who's been doing a completely different form of media for this whole after show podcast ride that we've been on, y'all. Repeat the question, it is Mr. David Zachrider.
David, what's going on, my friend?
Michigan basketball got a win today, so I'm riding high. Happy to be here.
Sports ball reference. Kelsey loves that. I'll tell you that much. But we're going to talk sports ball. My Bears looked pretty shitty today, but we got into the playoffs, so I guess it's best of both worlds. So
yeah, bringing that sports vibe into the Schmoedown. We very much appreciate it, David. Thank you so much for being here.
This actually might be the oldest, youngest person combination that could be on screen at this point. That could be.
Quite possibly.
I think I have a child who's older than David, but that's okay. We'll move on. The next person to be actually is going to be a twofer. The most rocking new podcast. They just had some announcements today for some new shows. I was watching them. They actually had a scoop that showed up in their Christian came in their chat today, gave them a scoop. So they're now called Scoops POV or CPOV. Jake, Jilly,
Scoops.
Scoops.
Scoops POV. Scoops POV.
What's up, guys?
So, not much. So happy to have you guys on. This is a great moment, guys.
I'm so happy to know that I'm not PLD's favorite.
Wow.
It is. Clip it out. It's in there. It is official. It is canon. Apologies.
And to think I wanted to share Jameson with you, Paul Denuzio.
Okay, well, Justin, you're done. I'm sorry. She's talking in that language right there.
Bro, what did I just talk to you about? Irish car bombs? Like last night?
They're all vying for my alcoholic heart.
I've got things to
for your
offer
heart.
that she doesn't. Like, right? Like the Irish car bombs, our mustaches touching just before our lips touch.
Who
Come on,
says
bro.
I don't have a mustache? Who says I don't have one of those?
It happens sometimes. Oh my goodness, Jake,
It
Joe,
doesn't show
we're
up very well on camera. It doesn't show up very well on camera.
it's the camera tricks are so fun to deal with. I'm sure you all have to admit that now having your lives on camera, some kind of sort of has been a trip. So we're excited to have you all be a part of this podcast community as well.
I mean, same. So
Yeah, PLD does not share his Jameson bottle. That is very much true. Alrighty, well, let's get this show a rolling. Last but not least, y'all, definitely someone who has earned her OG status in the game. Don't you dare say she is not a part of Action Army. She has been an OG Action Army. We're looking at you, Jake Iacovetta. You can't say anything like that ever again. Y'all, the one, the only Janine the Machine.
Hello.
Janine, so good to have you back on show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good as long as Jake's not around. So yeah.
we kept him very far away from this show.
Blame Jake, as always.
Hashtag
I gotta get that trending more. As I'm working on it. It's kind of slowly working. Right now.
Paul is trying to escape the blame PLD and get the blame Jake hashtag going.
Whatever it takes, right? So
That war. How's everyone doing tonight? We are super, super pumped to have everyone hanging out with us tonight. Couldn't be happier to be nominated alongside everyone with this crew. This is a Chill to Action show, so we have to ask the same question that we ask every guest on our Chill to Action show. Why Schmoedown? But I want to give it a little twist with it. Why Schmoedown, and what about Schmoedown made you want to start creating content for the show, for the Schmoedown? Jill, we'll start with you, babe.
I was sick to just talking to Sean about it. But I mean, because everyone that I knew really in the Schmoedown were competitors. And so it's like, I can talk to competitors all day long, but I want to talk to more of the community. Right. And so I was amazingly asked by Jake and Brian if I wanted to join them with a certain point of view. And I immediately was like, fuck yes. Well, hopped right on that bandwagon, and here we are. And it's been, honest to God, has been kind of like my savior for this kind of shitty of a year. Like, I've made so many amazing friends, and that's what really keeps me around, is this community. This community is absolutely amazing, and I have loved every single second of it. And I can't wait to continue this fun little ride that we're on. I don't want to get off.
Absolutely, 100%. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I've been watching since the first day, since day one for Schmoedown, and I've always had thoughts. I've always, watched the matches and the after shows and watched you guys and all this stuff, and I just thought to myself, why can't I do that? I podcast already. I've been podcasting for years on another show and a movie channel, and I just thought to myself, why not do it for Schmoedown? I watch it enough. I watch all the behind the scenes stuff. I know enough about it. Why can't I put my thoughts out there? And I'll be honest, I was at the awards last year, and you guys winning kind of drove me to that. So that's kind of where it came from. So yeah, it's always been in the back of my head, but this last year specifically, and how much more sportsy it's gotten, has kind of really hooked me more so than anything. So.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, David? How did you get involved watching the Schmoedown, and what made you want to create content for the Schmoedown?
Yeah, I started watching in like season 3 and just got hooked. And really, like, at the time, I hadn't seen that many movies. I hadn't even been on the earth long enough to have seen that many movies. But the truth is that I just got attracted to the character aspect of the show, and that's what keeps driving me back to it. As somebody who didn't watch professional wrestling growing up, that was it. Just for whatever reason, it finally clicked in my brain that, oh, this is why people like that. And then as far as getting into the actual content creation space, for me, I was sitting around during quarantine, and I had that thought in the back of my head, and I've had it in the back of my head for several years about doing something with the Schmoedown. But for me, I felt like I was just kind of sitting around, and I wasn't getting into our school's news station very often. So I wanted something to be able to keep those juices flowing, to keep myself productive and keep myself learning. And so that's why I went with the Schmoedown.
Nice. That's very cool. What about you, Janine?
Well, I definitely have a varied perspective on the show. I started as a fan, became a competitor. I think I came in at a time when a lot of diversity was happening. So I loved having all those perspectives, and it kind of just started as me just putting random comments in the Facebook group every Monday, like, hey, this is something that bugs me about the Schmoedown, or this is something that I love about the Schmoedown. And William Bibiani saw me kind of doing these every couple Mondays and asked me if I wanted to write Machine Monday articles for the Schmoedown website. And I loved doing that, bringing my perspective. And then the website went down. So I was like, okay, I guess that's it for Machine Mondays. And then my brilliant co-host, Morgan Robinson of It's a Wonderful Podcast feed, suggested, well, why don't you do Machine Mondays as like a short form podcast instead? So that's kind of how it was born, just bringing that same perspective as a POC, as a competitor, as a fan, and bringing that to just talking about all my thoughts on the Schmoedown. So I've loved doing it, and it's been great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Abby, Jack, congratulations, everybody. I love that. Love that. Thank you.
Definitely.
Love Abby, your last year.
Yeah.
Tim did have a super chat real quick. Throw it in there. Tim, thank you so much. Just dropping by to say justice for Cinefanatics. This recurring snub is effing criminal at this point. Well, we definitely stand the Cinefanatics on this channel. We're good friends with them as well. They have done. You should check out their work. They do a lot of effort into things, and they deserve a lot of credit as well. Definitely.
Yeah, we love them, and we definitely support them over here. So big shout out to Sin Fanatics. Love you guys. But I'm gonna shoot the same question over to Shuggy. My Shug, what got you started? When did you start watching the Schmoedown? What got you started with it, and why did you want to start creating content?
Well, funny part is I barely had just started watching Schmoedown actually a year ago to this day. Spectacular was my first event that I went to. I watched a couple of matches prior to Spectacular, and I just got hooked because I've always been into wrestling. I would come into C2A's and Take Three's chats to learn more about Schmoedown because I wanted to just know more. And then started the season, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do reactions. And then I ended up in the Discord, and I met two crazy guys, and it has been downhill since then with them two. And then we added a fourth young lady named Adore, and it's really just been craziness. Never thought we would be here, or never thought we were going to. I thought it was going to last 3 shows and then we'd be done. And I was truly wrong. And shout out to my boy right there, Justin and Ferris and Bador, who I love to death. They make this so much easier.
Justin's face says it all.
100%. So shoot that over to Justin. What about you, boss?
We started arguing in Discord, and we were like, yeah, man, you probably should record some of this because it was fun. Yeah, that's all it was. Like, I've been watching. I'm like Jake, man. I've been watching from the beginning. I just didn't ever get involved in like the community as much. I would just watch the matches. Maybe I'd watch a show here and there, but you wouldn't even know I was there. Then the whole thing with Collider happened, and then I started getting like people like Mark Riley, for instance, and stuff like that, wanting to support them because of the stuff that happened at Collider. And when I did, I started like started actually going into the chats and hanging out with Mark Riley. Bumped into Jake Acavetta there, realized we live like 15 minutes away from each other. So like we hooked up there and went to the first live event, and then started talking to folks, and got to do a cantina with Riley on his Star Wars show. Then I got hit up by Larry to be like, yo, man, you want to help me out over here? And then, like Shook said, man, me, him, and Ferris would be in there, like, talking about stuff with the Schmoedown and going back and forth, and it was fun. That's it, man. That's all we're here to bring you people is fun. Sometimes, you know, crazy things happen, like Christian telling Ferris to go eat shit. But you know what? Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes that's fun stuff.
All right.
That's why we do it.
That's awesome. And that's exactly why we all did it too, to be honest. We're all fans who came in together, wanted to talk about it, and that's how it happens, really. But okay, I have a direct question now. More, this is per point of view specific. See, I do love you, Jill. I'm giving you my first specific question.
PLD, I appreciate it.
Now, with Molly Damon having joined your crew, do you think you guys are going to be a little bit biased per se? Because obviously, at Call to Action, we're very non-biased. We have no love for anybody else. We're totally neutral, in our love for Entry Guy and things of that nature. What about you guys? How's that going to work for you guys?
Like biased as in like rooting for her for matches, or like in what? Can
you be objective about when you're discussing Molly in the Star Wars?
Oh, 100%. We can tell her straight to her face what we're thinking. We're honestly, these are some of my best friends that I've made like this past year. Like, we're constantly talking to each other 24/7, and Molly's going to be the first person that brings something up that she's like saying about herself, and we'll either agree or disagree. Like, we don't sugarcoat stuff. We're best friends. We're family. So, Jake, do you concur?
I concur. We've already done it. I mean, I mean, there's multiple times in the past, and she's been on the show after her time this last year in the season. But just since then, we've had discussions and conversations where we've decided either for her or against her, or talked about, if Sam's going to keep her, or who's going to draft her, or if she's going to get drafted, or when she's going to get drafted. And like Jill said, she would be the first to say it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And and that's exactly how it is. And it's going to be interesting because like Jake said, we haven't had her on when she was actively competing. So now that she is actively competing, that's going to be interesting. But she's already been keeping secrets from us. We didn't know about the Laura Kelly match until it aired.
Wow.
Yeah. She's straight up, like, honest to God, people are like, you're kidding. She told me, like, no, like, I swear on whatever religious book you want me to swear on. It
wasn't even that she kept it from us. She told us that she was like, yeah, like, I was told that there's something to watch after the match.
Yeah, she was like Alex.
No,
Alex wants. Yeah, she literally said Alex wants us to record the match because there's something that he wants us to see, and he wants our genuine reactions. And so I'm going, Molly's never lied to us before, so I'm like, okay, cool. I wonder what it could be. And then the match ends, and nothing happened, and I'm like, what's going on? And then we're watching it with Molly, and then Molly pops on our screens, and I look at her and I go, what? What is happening? So kudos to her for keeping that secret, because I don't know if I would have been able to, but she kept it from all of us.
You would not have been able to.
No, I would not. I feel like I'd sign and be like, guys, guess what's happening? Yeah, but yeah, she kept it totally secret. So that was the best, and I love her keeping a secret about that, because it was just the genuine reaction from us was like priceless.
That's impressive. That is impressive.
That really is. So that's Molly being a competitor and working on the show and stuff like that has to be something that's tough. Janine, especially being a competitor inside of the Schmoedown with your perspective and, coming up as a fan, definitely being a part of the Schmoedown fandom for quite some time. When it comes to your podcast with that certain perspective, do you feel like that gives you the leg up to kind of be more open about some of the things that you discuss on your podcast? Or do you feel like sometimes because of being a competitor, you have to hold yourself back in some ways on your show?
Oh, I pride myself on not holding myself back too much. I mean, I think I have maybe gotten a text or two from Christian like, "Hey, what are you gonna say?" But I always want to be honest, but also respectful. Like, I know these people; they're friends. I'm not out to like knock anybody or get anybody. Of course, I'm going to be playful and fun, and a little heelish at times with the machine character. But I'm never gonna, outright diss people in that way. I'm gonna talk, really honestly about character stuff and things that get me really annoyed that happen in the game, characters that I don't care for. I'm really going to be real about all of those things. So because I'm in it, I see it. And I definitely want to be honest with the people who listen to the show. So
It's a balance you got to find, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Now, David, I'll go throw this one your way. You had a show for a while. You kind of took some time off. I know you mentioned it was a college thing. You came back with your writing aspects. Like pretty much the new beat reporter, the Schmoedown, as it were. Is there any thought? Are you going to bring back your show? And would you change the format? Would you want to bring somebody on with you, or are you going to stay a solo act? What's your thought process there?
For now, the plan is to stay a solo act. Until I find that perfect connection. I think that it's just going to be me for a little while. I would love to bring the show back. I'm not doing it right now because I'm on break from school, and I would rather wait until the semester starts before I just try to dip my fingers in too many pies. So I'm excited about bringing the show back. Bringing the show back is definitely high on my list of priorities, but college is a little bit more important at the moment.
Understandable. Education, absolutely. All right.
Yeah. So I got a question kind of for everyone in the group. We've heard a lot of competitors say that after having to compete inside of the Schmoedown, whenever they watch movies, it just kind of doesn't feel the same way for them anymore. They're watching the movies, they're kind of taking notes for themselves inside of their head. Now that you all are content creators for the Schmoedown, whenever you're watching these Schmoedown matches, do you take yourself out of it sometimes? And are you kind of critically thinking about what's going on whenever you're watching the Schmoedown? Has being content creators changed the way that you watch the Schmoedown? Shug, I'm gonna start with you.
Yes, because once you became behind the scenes, you start to get to know people and things start slipping up and you kind of start knowing stuff. And it's very frustrating because you want to be excited and not know everything. And now you know everything. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, sure. I already knew that was going to happen, so it becomes a little different. And you know the inner workings now. You start the behind the scenes stuff. That something happened that day, possibly why a competitor didn't play that well. Where a regular fan doesn't know that. They just assume, they just played a bad game, or they got unlucky. And you actually you'll hear, no, something was going on with my internet that day, or I had a problem, or personal stuff. And so you look at it a lot differently than you normally do as a regular fan, which became very interesting to deal with as a podcaster and a content creator.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What about you, Jake? What do you think about that?
I still watch it as I have forever. I'm able to separate the two. I can kind of put blinders on while I watch matches and or just shows in general, and then I'll step back and be like, okay, now I have to think of it this way, or maybe I'll go back and watch it a second time. But I'm able to thankfully put some blinders on and enjoy match. I actually think I enjoy them more so now than I ever have that I do the show, and it's mainly because of the show. I'm able to talk about it when before I was the only one watching. And to what Justin said earlier, I'd watch shows and I would never be in the chat, and I'd just kind of watch it and move on. I didn't have anybody really to talk about it with. Now I have people to talk about it with, and so I get excited to watch matches and see something happen and then go back and talk about it. So I would even say that the show has even enhanced my viewing and experience with it, just because it's fun to know these people and see them compete and be able to talk to them and be like, watch one of their matches and then say like, oh, like we're going to be talking to them this weekend. I'm excited to ask them a question or whatever. So I guess I'm just rare in being able to put some blinders on and be able to separate the two.
Nice. Janine, what about you as a competitor watching the matches whenever you're at home on your own time? Does it feel any different from when you were a fan to watching them now as a competitor?
I'm always going to have that fan love when I'm watching it. I'm always going to be playing along, but it's kind of in a different way. And I'm not just like studying what's going on. I'm studying the competitors because I may face them at some point. So I kind of look at it from that perspective as well, where I kind of have to think about, okay, they, how are they challenging things? How is their thought process going? Like, I'm looking at all these different things to study my potential competitors. So I think that adds actually kind of a more fun element for me watching it, and it adds another level to my studying. So, but I can still look at it as a fan and get excited about what's going on and who's winning, and have a favorite in the match, and I can still get into all those aspects. But I also have that extra work I kind of have to do to really analyze what they're doing and how they're thinking and what they know and what they don't know, which is kind of a fun thing to look at as well.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
It looks like somebody's trying to crash our stream. I'm not sure how he got the invite, but
Who invited this asshole?
Oh my God! This has got to be.
Wow.
Invited.
You guys are talking about the Rundown Award. I don't get
promised me.
What's
You
going on?
promised me.
The Rundown Award. Oh, is that what it's called now?
I don't think it's actually called the Rundown Award. I think
Yeah,
we
it
changed
is.
the name.
It is called. It is
Oh,
called.
it is. Yeah, I don't think it is anymore. I don't think it is. We're the rating champions.
Well, you don't think so? That's probably why you're not going to. That's probably why you're not going to win the award then.
Shush.
Wow.
Being a heel commentator, Frank.
Holy cow! What is he trying to do with us, Frank? Come on now. I know what's
Hi,
happening.
Frankie.
How you gonna let this raccoon come in here, man?
He hacked the system somehow. I don't know. He kind
I don't know how we got the link.
I think now that we're in the same place at the same time, we're like supposed to fight or something. I'm not really sure how this works.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There you go. Get them right next to each other.
Hey, by the way, this Call to Action Network. Do you guys ever start a show on time anymore, or no? You guys.
It's our charm. It's part of our charm.
Oh, okay.
It's part of their shtick. It's why we love them.
Brand.
You know all about shtick.
From your point of view, is your shtick getting competitors onto your show to have a leg up on everybody else? Is that your shtick?
Wow.
Is that your
I
shtick?
mean,
No? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Frankie, you've been on our show, so you could probably
Twice.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, sometimes there's league mandated things you have to follow. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure win chill.
Yeah, you like it. You like it.
That's right. Not everyone can be a tape delay. That's true. That's very true. Well, Frank, all right.
Yeah.
Honestly, Frank, we've had a time that you watched, you have the rundown, you've seen all the podcasts going to come. Have you seen the evolution of the podcast? What's your thoughts on how the after show has kind of evolved from back in the day to now?
Yeah, I think what we've done with the rundown is really advance what fan punditry is all about. Continuing to push the frontier to new heights and new levels. Brad and myself, I think we've done an excellent job of delivering quality content week in and week out. I think we've done a really great job from year to year. Absolutely. Thank you for the question.
Well, yeah.
Wonderful, Frank. So
I do have one more. The question I have, the rumor is Jen Sturger replacing Brad Gilmore on the rundown. That's a rumor I heard after the spectacular.
I haven't made any final decisions, Paul, but I'll do what I want, and
hey, Jake, do we have room for a fifth host?
I'm game.
Janish is already doing Star Wars over
5 people. Is that Jesus Christ.
C2A has like 19.
Yeah.
Don't even start.
I know. That's the only reason why they won last year, because they had to have a whole platoon of people just to replicate the quality content that myself and Brad produce every week. It took 20 people to do what 2 people do.
Let's be fair. We just had 20 people on, so we could have that many awards, have that many votes coming for us. That's enough hosts to equal the amount of votes we're going to get. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Because it's not like you guys didn't have an army. An army. I mean, it was like, hey, let's start a podcast. Never do it on time, and then we'll win an award. We have all these built-in votes. It's incredible. Great strategy. I like you play dirty. I love it.
Well, we're the original Guild podcast, weren't we? At some point, we've changed a little bit.
Frank, if I can ask you a question, you brought him up, Brad Gilmore. Can you please finally tell us what he's the boat of? Like, what is he the actual boat of? Like, I got to know what he's the best of all time of.
Putting up with Frank's bullshit. I think that's right? Is that it? Did I get it?
WTF, Frank?
It's definitely an acquired skill, Ginny. It's definitely an acquired skill. So, again, massive props to Brad for manning the ship, dealing with that.
It's a skill we're all kind of still trying to learn. We're not quite the masters yet. That's why he's the boat and we're not. But yeah. Oh, but in all seriousness,
this is really sad. This is really sad. Looking at all of your faces, because I bet on January 22nd, you guys are all holding your hands virtually, like it's the end of some Miss America pageant. All like, oh,
Wow.
you did great. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. You know, you did great. And then someone's gonna win from your point of view. That sucks, right? Call to action. Oh my God, they're gonna win it. They're gonna win it, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, they totally deserve it. Meanwhile, you're like, these assholes, they got Molly. These assholes, they got reactions. These assholes. And then Let's Get Ready Network, you know, I mean, they'll be okay. They'll be okay because, you know, they talk about, Schmoedown, but they also talk about sports. They also talk about Star Wars. And then I'm sure they'll talk about how let's get ready to lose this award show. I mean,
that's exactly right. Look, we know we're a solid third. We're just here to watch the world burn. Everything starts to go down. Everything starts to go down. We just there. We know there is no chance in hell. Cue the music. That we win in this thing.
Okay.
There's no chance.
How about this?
How about
this? Why don't you take yourself out of the running, put Sin and Fanatics in there. Put them in there. Why don't you do that? If you're not going to win, put them in there. You can do that. But you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't.
No, we won't.
I don't think I don't see Mr. Sackrider down there in the corner. He's down there in the corner. I never thought we'd see the day when the Schmoedown would have a National Enquirer. Like, it's incredible. Incredible. You know, like, sometimes you have a meeting at work and you're like, this could have been an email. That's what repeat the question is. Like, they put out an article. It could have just been a tweet. Just, 100 characters. That's it. Like, it's incredible.
I just want to say that's a nice little introduction there to the a little preview of the next Schmoebaits, by the way. Well, we'll say that right now. We do have Mr. Frank Janish versus Mr. David Sackrider. David, do you have anything to respond? Any way to respond to that?
Frank is on the payroll. And so, I do all this stuff by myself. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. He can come out here all high and mighty and be Frank Janish, but, I'm a 19-year-old kid and you just decided to pick on me. So, just remember that when you go to sleep.
Wow.
And
Frank's not a kid.
Frank, and when he puts out that a bunch of managers have been talking to Ethan Irwin, eat your heart out, baby. Because nobody knew that everybody was going to talk to Ethan until my man right below me, Mr. Sackrider, told us all. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Frank, how did you and David miss the scoop on Nikki entering the draft as a Star Wars competitor, but POV did? We already covered the big Star Wars news of the Dragon Con player, so as far as I'm concerned, the news was over with that division. That's all I had to say about that. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what David. I don't know if you have. Yeah. David definitely missed it because he could use that scoop. He needs every little scoop he can get. He's, what's interesting is he's the biggest shill of all of you. Like, and you should all be offended by that. You really should.
Frank. Okay, I gotta ask, Frank. Do you have any advice for any of future after shows coming up? Any of the podcasters here? Do you have any advice for anyone here on screen?
Yeah. Honestly, Stop doing it.
That was all I needed to hear. I just needed somebody to tell me that was okay.
Yeah.
Frank Janish, you are the reason why people say that you can't polish a turd. Let me tell you something. I watch the rundown only for the purposes of not knowing what not to do. I watch what you do, and I do the total opposite. I tell these guys every day, did y'all see what Frank Janish did on the rundown? Don't do it. That's close call, guys.
And just the reason I watch Let's Get Ready because I want to know what it looks like with a webcam from 1995. I mean, that's the way just to remember. Good time.
The cheap Alabama joke. It's fine.
My fault. You stayed there. You could leave.
Ooh. All right. Frank, I'll ask you one last question.
Sure.
I want to know which of these podcasts, the nominees, are the most deserving of winning the award?
You looking in my eyes, Frank, while you're answering this. You look into my eyes.
You would like that, you 600 bitch. You would.
Oh, you know you won't. You know you won't. Don't even.
Fine. I'll tell you who's gonna win.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Janish from the Schmoedown Rundown.
Frank Janish always comes in laying down a version of the truth. Whether it's the real truth or not, that's up to you to decide.
Right.
Oh boy! All right.
I actually have a What the Fuck Frank shirts in my tea shop right now. So if you want it.
Put that link in the chat.
Put that link in the
Drop
chat.
that
Get
link
those
in the
What the
chat.
Fuck Frank shirts. Oh my goodness. What the fuck, Frank? What just happened right now? Oh my goodness. We were hijacked.
We were hijacked. Happened last year with Brad Gilmore. It happens this year with Frank Janish. I don't even know what to think that's going to happen next year. But
yeah, I think the Rundown is jealous that they don't get to have their little place in the sun when it comes to this award. But we do, behind the scenes, lovingly call this award the Rundown Award. I say lovingly, very loosely.
very loosely indeed. But that's all right. All right, guys.
His mouth all he wants to about Jake or even David, maybe even Shook to a certain point. But when you come in here and you trash talk or try to trash talk the likes of Jillian and the Machine, I ain't gonna let that slide. I'm not gonna let it slide.
Okay.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, guys. I think it's time. Let's go to a little bit of this or that. I'll be giving, if you haven't seen this show before, this is where I will give people options, 2 options, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on what I want. Depending on what I want, because I'm in charge here. At least of this segment, Danny. I'm not saying anything else. At least of this segment. Or I'll give you 2 options, 3 options, 4 options. You get to decide which one you like better. You can ask for context if you want, but you can make up your own context. That's sometimes more fun. They're pretty simple, pretty easy. It should be fun. Some of them we ask all the time. Some of them I kind of came up with on the fly, at least today. But let's go. Without further ado, this was the last time I asked this question.
Or that. Theme song pending.
We should have some kind of thing. Kind of fun. We do have
Jake,
the
get
last
me a soundboard.
soundboard. That's what we do. So without further ado, I know Janine, you did already answer this question once. And I'm going to retire this question because it seems a little bit older at this point. And we did see a certain someone put on the sunglasses. That's spectacular.
This was not approved by me also.
Cackling like the old team action. But for one last time, in the Civil War, were you guys team guy or team traitor? And we'll start with you, Jilly.
I feel like I have to choose a certain one.
That's right. That's right.
And we are 1-0, and that's good. That's good. You're 1-0 at this point. Not that we're biased. We're not biased at all.
Oh, no. Look, you guys, you can all answer however you want. There's only one right answer, unfortunately, but you're more than welcome to answer however you want.
Janine, how about you? Are you still the same answer?
Well, just for the pure fact that the traitor made it a thing for other competitors to try to do the I don't know this answer thing and do it terribly, which is a continuous rant that does happen on Machine Mondays.
Woo!
I'm definitely going team guy.
That's right.
2.
Bam.
Interesting. We got something. Wow. Awesome. I'm surprised by you.
Wow.
Tim.
Austin. Oh, Tim, really?
We're good.
All right.
That might be the more real answer right there. That might be the most real.
Team Ollie. That is absolutely correct.
David, go ahead. Put it out there for the world. I know you've been on backstage with them, so you are a little bit.
Tell us the truth, David. Tell us the truth.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and disappoint the world and say that I'm team traitor. But really, at the end of the day, I'm more in favor of everybody just coming together for one last ride in the sunset. That would be my ultimate dream.
That was actually the most political, diplomatic answer you could have given, I think.
That sounds like a good president right there.
And I appreciate the politics there, so I will give you credit for that. I'll give that a tie. So it's 2-0-1, we'll say. How about that?
Stir the pot. Come on. Stir the pot.
Stir the pot a little bit. All right. Justin, how about yourself?
I am the true hero, Ben Bateman. Because I don't think he traded again. I don't think he was a traitor to you guys. I think you guys were a traitor to him.
You can get the fuck out.
It's been Bateman.
Hi, hello.
Ben Bateman, the boss, has been the true guy. The true.
I invite you on my podcast. I sit down.
He's the
On the day
one
of
that
my
lets us
daughter's-
know movie trivia
Okay.
knowledge to another level. The man has changed the game single-handedly.
I break bread
You
with
guys
you.
left his side. That's
Wow.
a damn shame.
Share drinks with you.
Look, it's not even that you're choosing Team Trader, it's that you're choosing to also blast us on our show while also choosing Team Trader.
There you go. I think that's it. All right. All right, Jake. Jake, come on.
I've been team guy from the get-go. I'll be team guy.
And this is why you're doing so well. You enjoy doing so well because of that. It's the guy love. It's okay. Shug, you're the last one standing here at this point. Are you going to side with your boy and disrespect my house, or are you going to?
I would disrespect your house no matter what. But the first match that I ever watched that got me into the Schmoedown was Dan versus Guy. And when Guy jumped on that table and started flipping everybody off, I never loved a man so much more than at that moment. So
They cut the best line from that match. I will always be heartbroken.
Can we get the I'm hard cut, please?
Yeah. The Andrew
So
Guy
I'm
cut.
definitely team. I'm definitely team Guy. I'm definitely team Guy.
Hashtag I'm hard cut.
There you go. That's what it is.
Hashtag
When you get the Snyder cut, we should be lifting the I'm so hard cut.
Looks like me
Awesome.
and Tiger Hunter may have just made some money.
This goes to Justin and David.
Probably
Make sure they
so.
get it, Paul. No, I won't. That's going right to the Team Guy Fund. That's it.
Right to the Team Guy Fund. Sorry.
All right. How about this? I'll go to a different one. This is actually an interesting one, more serious level. As far as Schmoedown is concerned, studio, live, or digital? And we'll go reverse this way. What do you think?
Oh, it depends what we're talking about. I think as far as this year, the Star Wars matches were the best matches I've really ever watched. That tournament was amazing. But I have been to a live event. Studios is cool because, they get to cut everything up and make it look nice. But there's nothing like a live event and being there, drinking overpriced alcohol and just the crowd getting loud, Action Armies screaming their heads off. You see other people just going crazy. Possibly seeing Justin giving people frontal hugs. So yeah, I would have to say live. Is my jam.
Fair enough. Justin.
Oh, it's going to be live. It's going to be live because I love drinking as well. You get to have that fun time, good time. You get to be like in the atmosphere. Like it's just like college football, man. There's nothing like being at a live college football game with thousands of people, cheering either with your team or even part of them cheering against the team you're rooting for. Just that kind of electricity you can't beat. And you're right. Full frontal hugs are everywhere. I might be the last human being to actually hug Christian besides his family. And it was very, there's a picture out there and he doesn't look very comfortable, but let me tell you something. He loved it and he liked it. That's what I like. I love the live events. I love being able to meet people, hang out, and just have a good time.
Jake would know, that's for sure, that they are a thing of nightmares, I guess. And yes, Billy, that's true. No one can react when you screaming, this is bullshit on a computer. Jake, how about yourself, Jake? What do you think?
Yeah, it's there's no question it's live. Live is where it's at. I've been to a number of them. I've been lucky enough to be in a number of them. And they're by far my favorites. Are they the best matches that are played? No, but it's the atmosphere that you go for. It's the experience that you go for. If this show could be live every chance it gets, it should be, and hopefully one day it is. But I will say that I'm shocked at how well the digital matches were as far as keeping up the intensity and the realism to it all and characters and all of that, because it blew me away on how great it was. But out of the three of them, live is definitely the winner.
Makes sense. Julie, how about you? And you have a different take on it because you are in the studio a lot, have done live, so I'm interested in your thoughts on it.
And that's where my case is that I miss my Saturday studio afternoons so freaking much. I miss hanging with Janine and our crew and partying across the street and those days were so much fun. But I'm with everyone here. There's nothing like a good live event. it really brings, not only you get the community together, but also the competitors, and just being there with everybody under one roof. There's nothing like it. You really can't compare to the live events, and I cannot wait until those come back, because I don't care where the heck it is on this planet. I will be there for that first live event, and I cannot wait for it.
David, I'm going to go to you for this one now. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm going to, I guess, be the contrarian. I have been to one live event, and I will say that being at the live event, there's nothing quite like it, because that atmosphere is insane. But as far as the actual product of the Schmoedown, I think it's best. Like it feels like a cohesive piece at its best when you're watching it as a studio taped match. And as somebody who has only been to one and doesn't have the cash to be able to go to every single live event if it was live, I feel like the product as a whole feels at its best when I'm watching, if I'm watching it on my computer, if I'm watching it when it was taped in a studio.
Interesting side point. I'd like to see a different contrarian view. Now, for a definitely unique experience, someone who's competed as a live event, and as Billy Belford said, probably had the greatest live event entrance in history in the New York City event. I still agree with Billy on that. That's my number one. Janine, live events versus studio or even digital.
Well, I really first want to just shout out the crew for really trying to bring that same energy to the online format that we were kind of forced into. Yeah. I really appreciate them for that. And like Jillian said, I totally miss, my 3.5-hour drives to LA and just spending the weekend with my friends, just watching matches all day and then hanging out. Like those were some of the best times. But yeah, being in a live match, not just New York, but even walking out Ethan in New York again and free for all. I think that was my proudest moment losing a match ever, was that New York match, and getting that reception and feeling that energy was such a powerful thing. Like that was the best I ever played because of that live energy that I got from that crowd and that love that I got. Right. So it's live all the way. Like that was probably my proudest, strongest, most exciting Schmoedown moment, was that live entrance. So it's got to be live all the way.
Like I said, that's the one thing that's been missing from this year. We had the one live event at the beginning of the year, but live is like, I love the studio matches. I get to watch it every week. It's great, but those live events are kind of what you build up to, and you have that kind of fiery moment. So I do love the live events myself. I can't wait for them to come back.
I definitely agree, especially with what we're doing tonight, having all of our Schmoedown nominees here with us. Unfortunately, I don't believe we're going to be having a live award event the way that we did last year. Last year was a lot of fun to be able to hang out with nominees that were there, and it's just a bummer that we all don't get to hang out and see each other. Janine is an S-tier competitor to hang out with before or after a live event, that is for sure. We have shared
a birthday party
together.
Or a birthday party before one.
Yes, right? That was wonderful.
Lots of tequila and tea, and it's always a good time.
Yes.
But yeah, so before we move on for this or that's, just not being able to see each other for a live event award show is kind of a bummer for this season. So I'm glad that we are kind of able to hang out in somewhat of a capacity tonight here. So thank you all for hanging out.
I will say though about digital, like I'm actually glad they had to do this because I do think there are a couple things we wouldn't have gotten. The way the managers have been able to interact with people and us being able to hear it, like all that stuff, like some of the great moments we had this year, we wouldn't have never been able to hear, because if it was studio, you would have just saw them walk up to their competitor, say what they're going to say, but we wouldn't have been able to hear it. And then on top of that, like I really think it made people start to like try to promote their matches beforehand instead of just whenever you saw them. You got to see promotions before the match on YouTube whenever the match would occur. Like being able to see people build up their matches for like weeks, sometimes more than 1 week, like 2 weeks in advance. We got to see people cutting promos, putting them on Twitter, going back and forth like that. So I think that are some things that we learned because of this situation that I think they should keep moving forward. Some of those things we should have.
And definitely, I think it also got some competitors who maybe wouldn't have been able to play. They got opportunities to play, because I think that's maybe why the first couple matches were maybe like pride heavy, because those were all people that like lived in LA, and all those matches were kind of very local people. Right. So I think a lot of people who maybe would have had a hard time coming out and not getting to play as much really got their opportunity to play. So that was also a great thing that came out of that.
And also, silver lining is for all of us. I think, like we were talking earlier, as far as podcasts go, we have a lot more people who had a lot more free time on their hands. As far as like they were to guest on our show, availability, we have to have a lot more guests on our show and everything else, and so it helps with us as well. You see a lot of new podcasts have popped up. A lot of guests appearing everywhere they wouldn't have appeared before. I don't know if you get a Sam Levine on an after show at some point last year, kind of thing, but he's not this year. So it's definitely some silver linings on that. And that's
we also got the infamous code words for choosing numbers and stuff like that. I love that about the virtual matches, having those little code words for what you're gonna pick on a wheel. I love it.
And yes, we got Lon Harris and his green screen. That's true.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I love those moments where things weren't going perfect in Kristen's body. You could see a soul like leave it and then come back when things started working right. Like there was just some moments I loved every second.
Learning from the chairman's pain. I get it. I appreciate that too. You know. Speaking of Lon Harris, I'm going to throw this one out there. I mentioned our little scoop that we had of ever was that final exam might not come back next year. That Paul Yama was definitely potentially in talking with other partners. So that would open up Lon Harris. So who should Lon Harris team up with next year? If it wasn't Paul Yama, should he team up with Jonathan Harris or Ed Harris?
Ed Harris.
Jake wins the award. Anybody else have anything to say? No? Yes, no?
Paul, you and Ed Harris. What the hell's going on? Like seriously. I mean, it's sick. It's really sick. Every 5 minutes, Ed Harris comes out their mouth.
I gotta throw it out there.
This question was coming, and I just had to
It's all about supporting my man. I was gonna say, I love my man.
Yeah, that's what I have to do in this moment as well, is support my mans over here. All right. But that isn't this or that question.
I will move on. Jake answered it. I'm happy with that answer. We're good to go.
That's all we need. Thank you. Move along.
One person said it. We can move along. That's it. Yes, thank you. Yes. Yes, I deleted that photo, I believe. Oh,
did you? I was just about to look for it. What about?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. There we go.
Wow. That's beautiful.
The haunting photo. I'm so sorry.
The intensity in his eyes. The intensity in his eyes. Yeah.
The love in yours, Paul. The love in yours.
I like what I like. What I'm going to say. All right. All right. Going back to the old standby, Jilly mentioned earlier when we talked about this, or that off-screen poutine or loaded French fries. Jilly, we'll start with you on this one.
Oh, it's always poutine.
That's right.
Jake?
Yeah, it's poutine.
Yeah, there we go.
That's 2 for poutine. Janine?
As a citizen of Canada, I can't not say poutine.
Robert Adams is very excited in the chat, I think, at this point. David?
I've made it my entire mission to answer completely opposite of everybody else. I'm going to go with French fries.
The contrarian. I think that's your new Schmoedown name, the contrarian. I like that. Justin?
Look, there is a time in a man's life when you realize that when you want to put something truly great in your mouth, it's a little gravy. You gotta have a little gravy.
Hey.
So it's poutine, baby. Poutine all night long. I like to just scoop it up, put it in there, let it savor. Maybe even get a little on my beard. And I'll save that for later.
Save it for later, yeah.
It's the flavor saver.
All right. Shug, get us out on that one. Shug, what do you think?
Well, I'm from Southern California, and we have poutine. I've never had it. Loaded fries. We have a thing called carne asada fries. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I am a carne asada fries person.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I eat carne asada fries, so
that's mine. I changed my answer.
No,
Changing going down.
I changed my answer. Carne asada fries.
Sorry.
Yeah, carne asada fries.
Y'all need to have carne guisada. Y'all need to come to South Texas, have some carne guisada tacos. We will have a good time. As soon as live events come back around, please come back to Texas and Austin or San Antonio, preferably, so we can have some good Mexican food with everyone.
All right, one more Schmoedown question. Then I do have one more, one specific question for one of you on screen. We'll go with Shannon Barney versus Roxy Stryer. Which side of the feud are you on? Shug, I'll start with you.
God damn you! Why are you gonna start with me? Look, I think what I love about the Schmoedown is we do have characters, and you do have the actual person. Janine will contest to that. She is a machine, but she's also her person. When you talk to her, she's a really great person. Roxy Stryer, the character, I hate. Can't stand her. So she's the person. I love her. She's amazing. I cannot stand her as a character. So I am Shannon all day.
Okay.
Shannon all day.
Fair enough. Roxy Stryer, the first guest on Chill to Action, by the way. So it's hard for us to say anything else, but we'll get back to it. Justin, what do you have to say to that?
Oh, this ain't even a debate. This is straight up Shannon Barney.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, her character, her being a manager, her picking the people that she ended up picking, even after the draft with Adam Collins. I mean, everything she did was just on point all year long. And that's right. Somebody put it in the chat right there. You bow to the queen because that's what she was this year. Nobody else could stop her. Not Tom Dagnino, not anybody else. It was done. Wrap it up.
All right. No, that's not that one. There you go. David, what about you?
Absolutely, Jake.
I should clear up a previous statement in that I'm not purposely trying to take the contrarian view here. However, I find myself in this tradition once again. I'm going to go with Roxy Stryer, and I've been pretty honest about this opinion, but I feel like she's the best in-game manager in the game. And when it really comes down to it, if somebody has the ability to talk Jeff Snyder off the ledge, then we should be talking about them as one of the greats. And so the amount of times that Roxy had to do that this season is enough to give her the edge for me.
All right. The contrarian speak. I'm going to start just calling you that. Hashtag the contrarian. Jake, how about yourself?
I have a really hard time picking this one. There's a lot of reasons for each of them, but there's one reason why I'm going to go with the one I'm going to go with, and it's because she broke up the Wildberries. Mm-hmm. And if you break up the Wildberries, and in the fashion that you break up the Wildberries, I feel like you deserve it. And so I 100% go Shannon Barty in this situation. I totally agree with what David just said about Roxy. I think she's brilliant in game. What she has done with her players is magnificent. But if you can pull off breaking up the Wildberries in the way that she did, Shannon has totally got my nod. So Shannon Barney.
All right. I want to go down, go Janine. How about you?
This is a tough one for me as well. Another shameless plug. I do actually have a Roxy Stryer sexy numbers design in my tea shop as well. So pick that up. But yeah, definitely, like David said, Roxy, her ability to kind of talk Jeff off the ledge. Like, I was not a fan of Jeff. But to see him actually kind of have a lot of insecurities in matches, and the way that she was able to kind of keep him positive and keep his outlook going to these wins was really a miraculous thing to see. But I'm all about the entertainment factor and the fact that we got little story kind of stuff this season. Shannon was out there like picking fights and putting out creative, fun content and videos, and and just you can feel that she really loves her team, and that they do have study sessions, they do come together. She is a tight unit, and she's not someone who knows movies well, so she makes sure she's strong in every other aspect of being a manager. The cheerleader aspect, the giving these great pep talks when she sees the doubt in them, really taking the time to know her competitors well, so she knows how to navigate for them and champion them. So, and just the character stuff she does is epic. Like, I've loved all her fun ukulele videos and call out videos and little skits that she does. Like, nobody else is doing that. So I got to go Shannon 100%.
Fair enough. Jilly, it's up to you. What's your thoughts?
I do 100% agree with what people said here about Roxy. She is the Snyder whisperer, as I have called her multiple times. I think she's the only manager who can really keep Jeff Snyder in that mindset that he needs to be for the Schmoedown. But only one manager had a Twitter feud with me this year, and we went at it. And that is Mrs. Shannon Barney. So I've been corrupted this season. What can I say? I've been corrupted.
Nice. All I have to say, as a host of the show, I'm glad I don't have to answer that question. So we'll move on to one last question. Is specifically for Janine. You can all answer if you'd like, but this is specifically for Janine.
Okay.
Jake Acavetta, is he Action Army or is he not Action Army?
Well,
I
as
thought
someone
he
who
was
is
get ready.
OG,
Ready.
as someone who is OG Action Army, I would say he's not real Action Army.
No.
He's just a poser.
Damn,
He's
Janish.
just a hanger on her. I commend you guys for doing the charitable act of just letting him tag along with you guys. So
God,
It is a charitable act,
throat
right?
tonight.
And it's he knows better to fight back. So he did.
you guys are so kind to just let him just tag along in it and make him feel like he's a part, even though
we all gotta give away to our charities, and that's just what it is here.
yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this or that. Thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, this is the time for you guys to ask us anything. I know I will speak for myself and say I'll answer pretty much anything you want to answer, as long as I'm not sworn to secrecy. Everybody else, that's up to them. But ask anything you want. You go to streamlabs.com/call-to-action-podcast, things of that nature. We're going to take a second to plug our show, our stuff coming up on the channel. We're going to bring on the one, the only, the lovely Miss Kelsey Kirkland. As she will be our question person. Questions for everybody. So this is your time. Danny, why don't you start with our big announcement that we made yesterday, but we'll make a big announcement today as well.
That's right, y'all. Make sure that you get your questions in. Questions in for us, the Call to Action crew, for the Certain Point of View crew. Let's Get Ready podcast, Repeat the Question, and for Janine from Machine Mondays, make sure that you get any question that you want to ask them in to our Streamlabs. It's pinned in our comment section. But like what Paul was saying, we do have some big announcements. We have started a Patreon. We are super pumped and super excited to finally take this like weird little leap. A couple of perks that you can get from the Patreon. You will have access to our Ladies Night, which we are bringing back. We've brought back Ladies Night. We can't wait to do that. That's going to be myself, Kelsey, Alex Mack, and Megs just hanging out. That's a Patreon exclusive show, so you have to be a part of the Patreon to have access to that show. This Thursday, it's going to be every first Thursday.
Kelsey said I could be on the Ladies Night.
When did I do that? I don't remember you being part of the ladies crew.
She said as long as I got a good wig, we can hop in
notes.
I could be on the show.
Checked
I tried that already.
Breaking news: Justin Hamilton will not be on Call to Action's Ladies Night. Unfortunately, I see that. You will find that article and all of the details on Repeat the Question. You can find that there. But you will find Ladies Night on our Patreon. That's going to be every first Thursday of the month. We will be playing for this first Thursday. We're going to be playing some Jackbox games. So we're going to be hanging out, talking some shit, drinking some wine, hanging out, all of that good stuff. What else am I missing from our Patreon? I'm so sorry. There are a lot of things that I'm missing from our Patreon.
We got video questions for chilled action. That's one we can do. We can send in video questions we can add to the Schmoedown competitors we usually have on as well. That's another thing we can do. Our biggest tier at $25 is artwork from Jake Iacovetta, who does the artwork for all your Schmoedown competitors. Pretty much all the shows I do, from John Roca to Mark Riley. He's done for Roxy, he does Roxy all thing for everybody. He's done thumbnails for everybody, so it's definitely a good chance for you to get a thumbnail for your show if you want to start up, or any other kind of artwork you can talk to him about. That's another big one for us as well. So.
Yeah, we also have a Discord, and you'll be able to hang out with us there. What we are also doing once a month is we are creating and curating a playlist, a party playlist. It's a C2A party playlist, and they are kind of sort of going to be somewhat Schmoedown theme. An idea that you can think of is like what songs would be on a corruption playlist, stuff like that. So that's going to be a Patreon exclusive that we will give links to and everyone's damn it, Jake, damn it. We will also be doing live Q&As for everyone on our Patreon, and we're going to be doing live watch alongs once a month, both of those once a month. To any movie that's voted on by our patrons. All of that's going to be Patreon exclusive, so you can only get that content if you subscribe to our Patreon. We're super excited to start doing all of this stuff, and we can't wait for all of y'all to hang out.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
me, Paul.
We should actually, real quick, we'll just plug the shows for the week. I already mentioned before, Frank Janish versus David Sackrider on Schmoebates, the return of Schmoebates on Wednesday. It's a long time coming back. Alex has a great show with that. I can't wait to see what the debate is going to be there. We have a special guest judge. It should be a lot of fun. Danny, you look like you want to say something.
I do. I'm so sorry. One other perk that you get on the Patreon at the $10 level, you have the opportunity to send in questions for Schmoebaits, and you also have an opportunity to be a part of Schmoebaits. At the end of every month, Alex is going to host the Schmoebait that is against our patrons, and we're super excited to be able to do that too. So $10 gets you a chance to compete inside Schmoebaits. $5 also puts you in a raffle. We give away merch, so during our Q&As at the end of every month, we are going to be raffling off mugs, t-shirts, masks, whatever we want to raffle off during that time. We will be doing those raffles, and at the $5 tier level, you will be able to have access to that. That's
what about that queen hat? That's what I want raffled off.
Oh,
Really? You'd have to get a lot of scratch for that. I'll tell you that much. It's a little.
Not really. We found a hat, Paul. It's only like $20.
It's
Relax.
Paul's hat, but Paul's hat.
All right, guys. We do have a lesson.
Sorry.
Call to Action Live happens every Saturday, of course. The Point Saturday Night Kelsey's show there. We've been getting guests on and everything else. We just had the Rager, Rick Radis, and Beth May on last night, which was very cool, very fun. Got to know them a little bit. And Chilled Action will return. We're going to take 2 weeks off, and then we're going to have 2 weeks back to back. We're actually going to start doing Chilled Action on a more bi-weekly basis. Just makes it easier for a lot of scheduling and everything else. We want to do back-to-back episodes after the free agency special on the draft. We have the first one on the 24th will be Marisol McKee. Her first appearance on Chilled Action, so that should be a lot of fun.
Sure.
And then returning after that, after the draft, because I think if we want to talk to anybody about the strategies that went down during the free agency special and during the draft, it's going to be Ben, the boss, Bateman, because we're going to find out where he has been and how he got there. So those should also be a lot of fun. So without further ado, Kelsey, do we have any questions in the chat or in the Streamlabs?
Currently, we don't have any in Streamlabs. Let me see a few in our chat. Let's see. I am not seeing any yet. Make sure you get your guys' questions in.
I did see one or two back in there. Billy Belford definitely had one. All right. There you go. Question for everybody.
There we go.
What one episode of your podcast should we watch if you could only pick one? Do you have a one? Like you want to show somebody this is the podcast to watch. This is the entry point in there.
That's an interesting question.
I can
Go
start.
ahead,
Our Ladies Appreciation Night is probably one of the most amazing things that we did. That came together in the span of
6 days.
From like thought process to actually implementing it. That was 6 days, and it was the most amazing thing. We had all of these amazing women in the Schmoedown. Janine was there. It was so much fun. If you want to, for me, because Molly was there for that, she was one of our guests, but she wasn't a host at that point. If you want to watch one while Molly was a guest, I want to say the one solely for my reaction when Jake surprised us and brought Deception on. I think Christian tweeted that video out a while back of just my genuine fangirl reaction of Deception. That was but for me, it's definitely Our Ladies Appreciation Night would be
perfect. Jake, is that your same answer there?
Yeah, it's that one will always hold a special place in my heart. And like Jill said, it came together so quickly. It was kind of an idea that we had been toying with, but then we just said yes, like so randomly while we were either doing a show or talking. And for doing it for the first time, it was only our second actual live video we've ever done on the channel. And it flowed so perfectly. And then also to have Mark and Christian message us at the same time to want to come on and crash it was also incredible. Yeah, it was so special and so incredible. And I know that's over 3 hours and all that stuff, but it's worth every second of your time. Also, that video that Nerd Chronic put out, my God, I mean, just like hail to the king with that video. But yeah, also if we're talking about just a video in general on the show, like a main show, our Halloween episode where we dressed up was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
It kind of like embodies who we are as a group. But yeah, I mean, honestly, our videos, we're just a one big happy family on that channel. So any of those videos really work.
Very good. Janine, how about yourself?
Well, I did do a really fun. Mine is actually podcast form, so no video. It's just me kind of speaking out to the world. I did a really fun episode with Kevin Smets and Frank. We broke down, I believe it was 2019 Spectacular, and that was a really fun episode. That's where Kevin actually did a really fun voice intro that now is a regular on the podcast. You know, he did a whole fun In a World that's ruled by machines. So that's the episode where he did that on. And also right after Kevin's diagnosis, I did an episode just kind of talking about my favorite memories with him. And he actually told me, you know, he was having a rough day and just went back and listened to it to cheer himself up. So that is just kind of a special episode that I did recently, just talking up Kevin. And then, yeah, just the really fun one with Kevin and Frank breaking down Spectacular was a really fun one to do as well. So check that out on the It's a Wonderful podcast feed. All places podcasts can be found.
Yeah, there's a link for that inside of the description as well. So you can go and find It's a Wonderful podcast feed on there. That's such a great show.
And David?
It's kind of a tough question because my show is so much, or I tried to emulate my show so much like a Sports Center-esque show that it's very much in the moment. I don't think that same level of context is there if you're watching it out of the moment. If I'm choosing one in particular, it's probably the Tiderium episode, which was right after that event. I'm just really proud of the way that I broke that thing down because when I'm doing the show form, I definitely try to be as least biased or as least having my own opinions influencing the show. I'm just trying to talk about what the issue was and why it happened the way it did. And so, yeah, I'm really proud of the way I broke that one down. If you want more of an opinion from me, you probably have to go to the article format. An article I'm really proud of is an article I wrote in defense of Ben Bateman right after the Who's the Boss match. It's called The Curious Case of Ben the Boss Bateman. And for that article in particular, it was a lot of numbers-driven analysis, which is what I prefer to do because I think of everything in sports terms.
Fair enough. I like that. Justin, Shug, you guys have a specific one you guys love?
Go ahead, Justin, because I think I know where you're going to go with this one. So you go ahead.
No, I have multiple. If I had to pick just one, it's tough. Because a recent one that we have with Mark Edward Horton is pretty good. Love that dude. Like, did not know anything about that guy, like, as far as a lot of stuff. And when he busts out his Macho Man impression, that was pretty crazy. Because I did not think he could do something like that. But overall, I guess it would be Megan Sanborn. I'd say go watch Megan Sanborn, man. She puts on a lot of events for us that we talk so highly of, and she's the one that runs around getting all that stuff in order. And to not know who she is kind of crappy, but for her to be able to be on our show and actually show you a little bit about who she is and like what she does, and you get to see a little bit of her personality, which is like super great. I'd say go watch that one.
I will say, whenever you guys were premiering that episode, that was an episode that I like, one of those little light bulbs, because I think as podcasters and after show people, we all kind of are aware of what everyone else is doing when they're doing them, just to make sure that we're not stepping on anyone's toes and stuff like that, you know, just the business side of it. So as soon as I saw that you all had Megan Sanborn on your podcast, I was like, oh, look at that. That's a good pull right there.
Well,
the
thing about that is like, she did not want to come up front. She was very much, she likes living behind the scenes. She doesn't care to try to take any of the spotlight and everything else. And for her, that's one of our biggest accomplishments because, like, I mean, sometimes, look, it's me, Suge, and Ferris, and Bador was added later. But we, three crazy looking guys, like, and we go at each other sometimes. For her to feel comfortable enough to come on our show and to do what she did. And hey, man, she hung out with us till like 2:00 in the morning after that interview. She's a super amazing person.
Yeah, I think it's important for all of us to always make sure that we're shouting out the behind the scenes people involved in the Schmoedown. I think anyone that goes to live events is familiar with Megan's name, and stuff like that. So shouting out the background people was what really kind of stood out in my brain whenever you guys did that interview with Megan. So I thought that was a great pull and a great thing for the community to start doing, is start interacting with more background players.
And Shiv, is that yours as well?
I mean, that one holds a special place in my heart. There's a lot of good ones. We got to interview Janine. Rachel Cushing I was super excited to do that one. Shannon, obviously. And but I think the one where I'm really appreciative of, which is going to be strange when I say it is actually our Ace Cabrera interview, because that was our first interview we ever did. And I was shitting bricks. I did not want to do it. I had never interviewed anybody. And I messaged people today. I don't know if I even messaged you, Paul, and just asked for advice, because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to interview. Like, what do I do? Like, what do I talk about? And so that one holds a special place in my heart, because after that, when we would start messaging people to interview them, they were like, yeah, well, we'll come on, and we've had very successful, of talking to people and getting people on. Like, they don't really, like Justin said, in the beginning, it was me, Justin, and Ferris, 3 crazy looking guys that yell at each other all the time. And then we added Bador, and, it's just been that thing of like, people trust us, people are willing to come on our show and talk to us. And so that one will always hold a special place.
I mean, John the Piccirillo. Yeah, that guy's amazing, man. And to be able to see him like talk about what he does, that dude knows how much rain falls on a city that they're planning on going to. Like, literally knows like every inch of rain that possibly may fall in that town. He knows it, and that's just crazy when you start figuring that kind of stuff out from these people.
Perfect. All right, Kelsey, got any more in there?
All right, next question. This is for one person on the panel in particular. Justin, why are you the way you are?
I've been asking that for years since I met him.
Okay. That's a question I could have fun with, but it's seriously like, it's going to be an easy answer to this, is because I'm going to tell you, some people may think that I'm crazy, and in some ways I am, but the reason why I'm the way that I am for real 100% is because when I do something dumb or say something dumb, sometimes it's got a meaning behind it, because most of the time it brings a smile or laughter from someone. That's the key. That's the key. I hate having like people going around being either super serious or being in a negative space. I'm going to do whatever it is. If it's hug the bartender at a live event so that we can get free double shots on our drinks, I'm going to do it, because that brought like smiles and laughs, and people talk about that. If shut up, Cal. Somebody's in my ear messing me up, but I'm just saying like 100% that it's because I love bringing smiles, man. I love having fun, and that's all it is to it. That's what I do, is all for fun. Like when Frank came on here and he was giving the business, like I go at him a little bit to go back at him so that he's just not coming at us, because it's funny, man. Everybody can laugh and have a good time and do whatever they're going to do. And that's it. That's the why I am the way I am 100%.
All right. Question for the whole panel is, what is everyone's favorite match of all time?
Guy Merle. Easily Guy Merle for me.
Yeah,
it used to be Guy Merle for me, but it's changed. It's changed. It's Laura Kelly versus Ace Cabrera. That is my favorite match of all time. That match, I talked to Laura yesterday on Saturday, and I just told her how amazing she was, because that match, even though she lost by 1 point, she like kept her composure. She still played a great game where literally she beats anybody on that day. Probably might beat Damon possibly, and she didn't even was upset or anything like that. So that's my favorite match of all time now, is Ace Cabrera versus Laura Kelly. I love that match.
Anyone else have any specifics?
Star Wars.
Favorite match of all time is still probably going to be, for the longest period of time, is going to be Ken Knapsack versus Sam Whitworth.
Damn it! That's what I was just
Star
gonna
Wars, Star Wars Iron Man match.
I was
Iron
in
Man
studio. I was in
Ken
studio for
Knapsack
that.
wrote a book about how we should love Star Wars, and he got screwed. He got screwed to the day he answered the question after the timer was up. That's bull crap. That is bull crap. And if you remember, and Jake might remember this because this is old school. Not only did that happen, but when John Campea and Ken played against them people like in the teams match, old Freddie Prinze Jr. over there wrote down something totally different than what he said out loud, and they still gave him the point, which screwed him on that match. Ken Knapsack got screwed from the beginning. That's probably why he retired this year. He got tired of getting screwed. This year he got screwed by just getting shoved into a manager's role out of nowhere. Like, come on, man.
Well,
like,
they did. To be fair, they did have a Freddie Prinze rule for a little while, but that's just basically now repeating what you wrote down, and it has to match for it to count now, or something like that.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, I'm definitely still a Guy Dan match. That was such a crazy surprise. Being there in studio for that was crazy. Definitely what Justin said. That was my first kind of fan thing in the old studio, was that Star Wars Iron Man match between Whitworth and Ken, and that tackle was that same day as well. So being in the studio for that was pretty freaking crazy. I remember doing an interview with Emma and talking about, like, why do you love Action Army? Why do you love Action Guys? And I'm like, oh, who doesn't love a bad boy? So I did have like love for those matches on that day specifically. But yeah, it's got to be Guy Merle. But also Smith and Jericho, like, I just had so much fun watching that match, and to see like these people who have like better things going on in their lives than Schmoedown really having fun and getting into it was just like such a joy to see. So that was such a fun match to just watch. So that's kind of in my second honorable mention spot. But yeah, I think it's always going to be Guy Merle just because of the surprise of how crazy that match was.
Absolutely. David?
I also probably would have said Guy Merle, but just to throw a different match out there, I'll go Bateman Guy 1. I really like that match, mostly because I like it when the match mixes the storyline with the trivia, because what makes this Schmoedown great, and I say this a lot on my show, is it's not just the trivia. Because if it was just movie trivia, honestly, I wouldn't tune in. It's all of the character stuff. It's all of the outside stuff that really makes the Schmoedown great. I think Bateman Guy 1 does a really good job of melding all of that. It's not, I mean, it's a knockout. It's not like super exciting as far as trivia is concerned, but it does everything else to make it super exciting.
Perfect. Julie?
For me, I'm going to be biased, and it's Sean Sullivan versus Adam Witt.
Okay.
That's my personal favorite, just because that was a big moment, obviously, for us. It was Sean's first match, so that was a magical in-studio moment. So that's one of my.
We had a very fun match. Like that was
a fun match, and I couldn't even be mad with Whit for that pull, man. I told him afterwards, like, you took his TKO, but I couldn't even be mad about it. That was a good pull.
I know some of us have to get off, and I understand that. But one last quick question. Ben Bateman made a claim at one point that he would win the Star Wars title if he had 60 days of studying. I want your predictions on how many days it will take Ben Bateman to win the study to win the Star Wars title. I have my own answer. Jake, what do you think?
Never.
Okay, Billy.
Does he have 10 years to grow up?
Yeah, never. Never.
No, not gonna happen. Never. Sorry, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Janine.
Yeah, it's not happening. Like he's notorious for just not watching movies and then like
and then complaining about it when they're asked.
Yeah, these questions are dumb because I didn't watch
because I've never seen the movie before.
So
David,
to go into this that attitude, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Quarantine's not going to last forever. At some point, he's not going to have infinite amount of time to just watch Star Wars, and that's why he'll never be able to study enough to win it. I would like to see where he gets after 60 days. I don't think it's enough to beat somebody, but I just want to see that as like how far could one of the top competitors in the singles division get if they just decided to put all of their energy into Star Wars. But yeah, maybe after a year he beats somebody, but I don't think he would ever get close enough to the title.
David,
to be technical and T about it, he did claim his actual claim was he would get to a Wit Sullivan level.
That's what he pulled back from.
Sean called him out, and he pulled back because he knows that Sean would kick his ass.
Because I had a long talk with him. Let's put it that way. Shug, what's your prediction?
Well, is there a Lucas Black in Star Wars?
I was just thinking the same thing. Alden Ehrenreich. Alden Ehrenreich is Lucas Black.
If there's no Lucas Black, I give him 90 days. But there's Lucas Black. No, he ain't doing it.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I would beat Ben Bateman. Star Wars worse. Look, I would beat him worse than Shug beat him in Magic not long ago. And let's all look to the point that when Shug did that to him, just destroyed him on his own live stream in the Magic game, that's when he started losing matches. He hasn't recovered. He has not recovered from that.
I'll say I know Ben Bateman. I work with Ben Bateman. I would give him 1138. 1,138 days before he could actually contend at all.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? I know Star Wars people.
I see what you did there.
Star Wars people saw what I did there. So, all right.
That's going to be it. Oh, that's going to be it, y'all. We are wrapping it up tonight for Chill to Action on this Sunday. Oh, my goodness. This is so much fun to be able to hang out and spend some time with our fellow nominees of this prestigious award, the Rundown Award. Who knows? But thank you all so much for everyone inside of the chat hanging out with us tonight. We love you. We appreciate you so much. Before we get out of here, Jill, let us know where the great people can find you.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. You can catch me spilling the tea over at Twitter.
There you go. Jake, where can everybody find you?
At Qui-Gon Jake everywhere, 2 N's because someone else took it before I did. Obviously, POV. We Sunday nights on a certain point of view. And then also we just announced our brand new show with Jill and Molly Damon. Happy Hour with Jill and Molly. And our first show is with Laura Kelly on January 16th.
Very nice.
Very, very excited for that. Link to the POV YouTube channel is in the description down below. Janine, where can everyone find you? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Should I be present?
Is that me?
Sorry, I froze a little bit.
there you
You
go.
can find me at, I think you can find me at Janine Zabine on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the It's a Wonderful Podcast Twitter at It's a Wonderful One on Twitter.com. Please check out the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed. All places podcasts are found. We have Machine Mondays, of course, every Monday with me, Janine the Machine, talking Schmoedown. Every Wednesday we have Morgan Hasn't Seen, where I force my cute little British co-host Morgan to watch things he hasn't seen. January we will be talking presidential movies to bring a positive vibe to politics. And every Friday we have It's a Wonderful Podcast where we talk classic films. So please check out the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed. We also have a Patreon at It's a Wonderful One, patreon.com. We have some fun things over there, polls, Sunday live streams with our patrons, monthly artwork. At a certain tier, you get a custom logo designed by me. So please check it out at It's a Wonderful One on patreon.com. And of course, the tea shop got some fun designs in there at G9 Design on tpublic.com.
Yes, the anchor link is in the I can't say description. That's the word that I'm having trouble with. The link to the anchor is in the description below, and Jake is putting the rest of the links in the chat for you, so make sure that you check those out as well. Justin, where can the good people find you at, bud?
Obviously, Let's Get Ready and on the Holocron. And today I watched a little football with Ferris, so I guess on the highlights every now and then. But man, like, this has been a crazy year. We started this, like Shug said, didn't think we was going to get like 3 shows, 4 shows in before it was all the crap, but a lot more people watched this than we ever thought. We thought it was going to be like 5, maybe 10 people. There's a lot of people that watch this, even from the very beginning. And I give all the fans all the props in the world for like supporting, for being there. I'm going to thank all the great people that we've got that y'all don't get to see all the time, like Danny the Crow, Adelia, Alex, Colin that helps us out behind the scenes. I mean, we've done more than I thought we'd ever do. We've got multiple shows, like you said. They're all not about the Schmoedown. But we also got like a website. We got a website, people, and it's actually pretty good. Adelia does really like super great over there. Puts together a lot of information. A couple of people write stuff for it. We even do book reviews from Star Wars over there for the Holocron. So like that stuff right there is just amazing. Never thought we'd even go that far, and we have. I mean, to the point to where Yeah, we crossed 500 and we killed thanks to the fans too. Like you don't just watch our stuff, but you don't just click on it for like a couple seconds. You watch it. We smashed. Like if we had 1,000 subscribers, we'd be monetized right now because we smashed the watch time. Like that's been gone. We broke that part of the monetization like a long time ago because the people don't just watch and click on it. Like I said, for 5 seconds, they watch it for minutes. Sometimes almost the whole show. So we do pretty good there. And yeah, had some fun times. We got Suge's got to put on some leggings because y'all people like donated to the goal to be able to get him to wear some leggings that are coming up. So that's going to be awesome, man. But yeah, all the people here is pretty awesome. Like I love everybody that does their stuff. It's just crazy. And it's surreal to a certain point. And yeah, it's all about love, man. We joke around, we do our things. But like I said, over at Let's Get Ready, it's about having fun. That's all we want. That's all we want to do is we want to have fun. When it's not fun, we're not doing it no more.
That's right. That's right. It's all love. Shuggy, where can the people find you at?
People can find me at Twitter, ShugKnight323. Obviously, find me on the Let's Get Ready Network. Me and Ferris do the highlight show. We got the Holocron. I don't know if I can announce this because Jake's here, but tomorrow we're doing Cobra Kai review. So make sure to watch that because that's going to be awesome because I get to hang out with Jake, who's freaking awesome, and I love him to death. No offense, Jill. I do love you too, but I love Jake more. Yeah, you can find me there. And like Justin said, all you guys on screen, Janine, David, Jill, Jake, Paul, Danny, you guys are all amazing. You guys are all inspired us. You guys, we do have a little competition, but it's all love and respect. I love I appreciate every one of you, and you guys are amazing, and much respect to all you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shug. And sweet little David, where can we find you, bud?
You can follow me on Twitter at POTUS107. That's where I tweet assorted musings, mostly about politics, because that's the only other thing I'm interested in besides the Schmoedown. That and Michigan basketball. I'm very interested in Michigan basketball. But other than that, as far as Schmoedown stuff is concerned, follow the show at RTQ Podcast and then also at rtqpodcast.com. That's where it's at. And look, you can read it, you cannot read it, but I'm posting what I'm hearing. And so I'm not going to apologize for being a conduit.
No, don't you dare apologize. Apologize, man.
They're asking for it. They're wanting the apology.
There you go. That's right. You can find the Let's Get Ready podcast link in the description. You can also find the Repeat the Question channel, or I'm sorry, website and the link in the description. All the words. Kelsey, where can we find you at?
All right, you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me at Miss Quinkins on Instagram. That's my cosplay page. Or you can always find me here on Chilled Action and Called Action every week. Always have fun with that. And then, of course, Ladies' Night's coming up. Excited for that. We're going to have some fun. So happy that's back. And I'll see you there.
Paul.
At Paul_Denizio on Twitter. You can find me on Chilled Action, Called Action. You can find me on the Action Industries, home of Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy. Most of the weekend shows, I make appearances here and there. Also, I do occasional stuff on PLD projects. Usually it's after late night shows, or also Star Wars. I'm going to do a Star Wars show soon, actually, with Bador, Richard Dark Jarvie, and Maddie Gunner as well.
Wait, what?
At some point. Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Staff writer, get on this, man. Call to Action trying to steal LGR people. Get on this today.
Not all of us, just Paul.
It's not Call to Action, just me. It's on PLD Project.
Freaking bastard.
All right, I do want to say, before Danielle does her thing, I do want to say that I was a little bit disappointed that when POV got to say their favorite show to watch, it wasn't the one that we were on. It wasn't the one that we came on your show, brought all of our fans to you, did all that stuff, had the laughs and the fun, and you didn't even think about mentioning that show. Come on, guys.
That was a fun show.
I mean, look, it was a great show, but let's be honest, the ladies take over, man. The ladies take over.
We're gonna save the real. we're gonna save the real tea and the real after show drama for whenever we all go on Machine Mondays. So we'll
especially when I have Abby on. That's definitely also an episode to check out. Anyone's with Abby.
we will spill all of the tea there. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. You know me, y'all. It's your girl, Danny Joy. You can find me on Twitter at Danny Joy, DANIEEJOY. You can also find me here every Sunday hanging out with my favorite co-host, Mr. Paul Denizio, on Chill to Action every other Sunday. I'm so used to saying every Sunday. Oh my goodness. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Give your doggies a belly rub for me. Love on your pups. Love on your kitty cats. Love on your friends. Make sure that you tell everyone inside of your life that you love them. 2021 is going to be positive because we make it positive. Thank you so much for hanging out with all of us from the Call to Action Network, from everyone in the Action Army. We love you. And as always, we salute you. Buttons. Who pushes buttons?